In this edition of Southern Newsweek, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern officially opens the Remarkables ski area after a massive snow dump. Bone-chilling temperatures bring a hoarfrost to parts of central Otago, and how we as school pupils are spending a week immersed in art. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. It was all smiles and cloudless blue skies for opening day of the Remarkables ski area last weekend. Crowd numbers remained steady through the day and excitement levels were at an all-time high, especially with the arrival of Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern.
Blue skies, sun and fresh slopes in Queenstown. The Remarkables ski field opened its doors for the ski season on Saturday morning. Bringing in almost 1,000 keen skiers and snowboarders, people were eager to start the day.
Oh yeah, pretty stoked, pretty excited, and the snow conditions looking probably the best I've seen it looking for the start of the season in a long time.
Yeah,
looks beautiful. Yeah, we got I think more than 1 meter last week, and it looks beautiful.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and Tourism Minister Stuart Nash also made an appearance on the big day. NZ Ski CEO Paul Anderson and Remarkables Ski Area Manager Ross Lawrence guided Ardern around the field. During the tour, Ardern also made time for several selfies and greetings along the way. Ardern says she is looking forward to seeing both Kiwi and international tourists enjoying the freshly prepared area.
You can see the joy that people have being out there again today. And of course, Kiwis now alongside travellers. So I had a few g'days as I came down on the chairlifts, indicating that again we will be seeing Australians come in for this season. My future with either skiing or snowboarding will be preserved until I no longer have trailing media. so not for a while.
The good turnout of people and excited energy made for a memorable opening day for the ski field. The Remarkables is now open to the public with the ski season underway. In Queenstown, the South today.
We are truly into winter, with Tuesday night's cold temperatures and fog producing a stunning hoarfrost in some inland areas the following morning. One of the places that was covered in the delicate ice crystals was Clyde in central Otago.
The last few days have been the coldest so far this winter across central Otago, with an overnight low of minus 7.7 degrees recorded at Alexandra Airport this morning. Widespread fog across the district, combining with freezing temperatures, produced perfect hoarfrost conditions in Clyde. Forecasters say the chilly conditions are expected to persist throughout the week, thanks to a big area of high pressure. A similar level of humidity is expected over the next few days, meaning the possibility of more hoarfrosts for central Otago.
The new Mosgiel pool is still under construction, but it's already making waves, with locals citing a lack of consultation on some aspects. The Mosgiel Community Board wants the Dunedin City Council to stop the construction of traffic lights near the pool until a public hearing is held.
Construction of the new pool at Mosgiel is coming along well, with walls and roof now in place. However, members of the Mosgiel Tairi Community Board aren't happy.
We're rather upset on the layout. There has been very little consultation. There's another 10 or 15 car parks to be taken away, satellites going in.
The project was going to plan in February, with the first support beams and prefabricated wall swung into place. However, it's the changes to Gordon Road which are causing consternation among some Mosgiel residents.
I don't really think that it's necessity what they're doing. I think there's other alternatives, but unfortunately the council haven't given us the opportunity to discuss alternatives, and I think they've let us down a wee bit, and it's all been told so far that this is it, and take it or leave it.
The Mosgiel Tairi Board is asking the Dunedin City Council to put an immediate stop to all procedures and development of the new Mosgiel Pool intersection until a public hearing is held to discuss the issue. However, DCC Chief Executive Sandy Graham says the board's resolution isn't valid, as Gordon Road is a state highway and under the domain of Waka Kotahi, the New Zealand Transport Agency. But Mosgiel Tairi Community Board member Brian Miller says Waka Kotahi haven't been responsive either.
There's been no consultation whatsoever. I'm quite disappointed that NZTA had a bit of a discussion with the local people.
Miller says the public should be consulted as per the Resource Management Act, with a full assessment made by the council of the effects of the intersection on the immediate and wider Mosgiel-Tairi community. But Sandy Graham says the board was given advice before it voted that the resolution would be invalid, yet chose to proceed. In Mosgiel, the South Today.
Rates hikes are on the way for owners of vacant and untidy properties in central Christchurch. Owners have been put on notice to clean their properties up or face paying up to 4 times the standard general rate.
Owners of vacant and untidy land in central Christchurch have been put on notice. Either tidy up or pay up. The Christchurch City Council voted this week to approve a new rating scheme that will significantly hike the rates of vacant central city land.
We're not talking about vacant land, we're talking about vacant land that's left looking pretty shabby and not really adding value to the areas where it's located.
Derelict landowners could pay up to 4 times the standard general rate. The decision was made as the council adopted its annual budget, confirming a 4.66% rates rise for an average Christchurch residential property. Derelict property owners will be able to apply for a rates remission if they improve the site's appearance and keep it tidy and well maintained. Councillor James Goff did not support the scheme, saying there are too many issues about what qualifies a property as being derelict.
I don't think that really the vacant land is the issue. I think fundamentally the problem in our city around what's stifling regeneration is a number of things. But first and foremost, it's derelict buildings. We have an opportunity to directly tackle that, and that's where I think our best efforts would be best spent.
Owners of derelict buildings will be in the firing line next year. The council has directed staff to investigate extending the policy to cover derelict buildings in and across Christchurch as well. Consultation on the results will be carried out before next year's annual plan. In Christchurch, the South Today.
A Central Otago trust believes primary school children should receive more instruction in art. The Three Lakes Cultural Trust is running trials of art immersion classes for youngsters near Wanaka in the hopes they could become part of a nationwide program.
Year 5 and 6 pupils at Hauia Flat School, as well as Remarkable's primary school in Queenstown, were recently treated to a 5-day immersion in all things art. Several local artists instructed the pupils in everything from painting to creating cardboard sculptures and even photography.
They offer a lot more expertise than a usual classroom teacher, and they brought in all their supplies, so all of the professional supplies as well. And the kids are loving it and very engaged.
The project is run by the Three Lakes Cultural Trust, which says the arts play a vital role in a child's development.
I was trying to aim for hills. When you drive into the Albert Town Bridge, there's a hill with a lot of bushes and then like power lines on top.
Yes.
And then
absolutely.
It turned out
it would be
that
very lovely if
the
you
theme
did.
was Kiwiana, and so I figured out that sheep was Kiwiana, so I planted sheep.
I got a pipe and then I put my camera in the pipe. I got and then got a lamp, put an orange cover over it, and put the Buddhist person in front of it, and then edited a little bit on Snapseed.
Richard Howarth says the Trust believes children at a young age should be given more instruction in art and would like to see the 5-day trial become a template for a nationwide program.
What we would like to achieve is to present a package to the Ministry of Education that will facilitate extending this program in the short term to most, if not all, of the primary schools in the Queenstown Lakes area, but ambitiously across the country.
The art created by these Hauia Flat pupils will be exhibited at the Wanaka Community Hub for the entire month of July. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come after the break on Southern Newsweek. An internationally recognised film partially shot in Makarora, featuring nudity and 70s architecture, is released. And Dunedin school pupils dress up for Library Day and Matariki celebrations. Ministry of Education is cutting funds to at least 2 Dunedin organisations to the tune of more than $150,000. The enriching local curriculum funding cuts have affected the Otago Museum and Orokonui Eco Sanctuary, while the Public Art Gallery says it's currently in discussions. Otago Museum's director is calling in the local big guns for support.
A man on a mission. Otago Museum Director Dr Ian Griffin isn't taking an $80,000 cut to its educational funding lying down, calling on local members of Parliament to try and sway Education Minister Chris Hipkins.
But I'm hopeful that our local politicians will come to the aid of the museum, because obviously we think this service is really much needed, and certainly in an age where science and technology and engineering and maths and the arts are so important. There's a lot of evidence that shows that coming to a museum as a school group really can influence career choices.
Dr Griffin says the funding has been in place for about 20 years, and he's baffled as to why the Ministry of Education has chose to cut it now. He says, like with the Eco Sanctuary, the funding helped with school visits, which he says they'll now have to charge for, although he admits the costs may be prohibitive for some schools.
And the impact on the museum is that rather than having free admission for local schools, for the education programme, we're now going to have to introduce a charge of about $10 per head.
He says the Ministry of Education's decision is short-sighted and cites international evidence which proves many people learn from hands-on programs instead of in a classroom.
Well, there's an American researcher who's published, John Falk, who published a really important paper that says that 95% of the learning you do in your life is outside the classroom. And places like museums are incredibly valuable for offering learning opportunities. And you're absolutely right, people don't all learn just by reading things. Some learn kinesthetically, some by sound, some by touch.
For the Dunedin Public Art Gallery, it's understood the funding helped community art programs. The gallery says it's currently in discussions about the funding it receives. In Dunedin, the South Today.
A new Kiwi film that was shot at a holiday park near Wanaka has its nationwide premiere. Nude Tuesday is a comedy movie performed entirely in gibberish and featuring the 70s A-frame style cabins at the Makarora campground.
Less than an hour's drive along the Haast Highway from Wanaka lies the sleepy Wonderland holiday park at Makarora, which could become a whole lot more famous thanks to it being the setting of a quirky film called Nude Tuesday. Director Aman Ballantyne had never visited Makarora before filming and only discovered the location online. When she turned up for shooting, she was very pleased to see how scenic the area is.
When we came down, suddenly it was like, it is really great, but then there's also this, and there's also this, and there's this amazing person in the community who's going to help us with this, and so it just kept kind of like giving.
With all the cast speaking gibberish, the movie has a feeling of a Scandinavian art house film, with the holiday park's chalets proving a major asset.
The architecture, you know, of the A-frame cottages that we thought suited the sort of absurd heightened reality, but then also this majestic, like stunning surround.
Wonderland Holiday Park owners say the film was a blessing, being shot after borders were closed and all overseas tourists away.
Our dates shifted a couple of times and then everything kind of settled and we whisked everyone down and managed to shoot, and then we went up to Auckland. And then I remember Auckland going back into lockdown quite a few times and I just thought, oh, thank goodness we made it down there.
Yeah. Felt very lucky to just slip in between pandemics.
Nude Tuesday kicks off with a nationwide premiere this coming Thursday. In Makarora, the South Today.
Otago Girls High School pupils got to attend their classes on Tuesday in costume. The occasion was a celebration of both Matariki and the school's annual Library Day.
Celebrating Library Day in colourful costumes, pupils and teachers of Dunedin's Otago Girls High School dressed up in fun outfits for the school's annual Library Day.
Library Day is a celebration of literacy, and it's an opportunity for all of the different departments and school groups. They all donate books, and it's a way that we replenish our library shelves.
Now in its 85th year, the day sees pupils dressed up in themed literary costumes.
Today the theme, because of Matariki, was looking to the stars, so there's a lot of inspirational costumes around.
A number of pupils explored the theme of looking at the stars by examining space travel from a few different perspectives.
I'm dressed as an alien, and well, I kind of literally took the theme quite literally, looking to the stars, because alien are from the stars.
The pupils enjoyed their day at school, able to spend the rest of their classes still dressed up in colourful character costumes. In Dunedin, the South Today.
If you're a stargazer who enjoys beautiful images of the night sky, then an exhibition in Alexandra might be for you. The Winter Stellar exhibition opened at Central Stories Museum last weekend, featuring images of distant nebula and stunning photographs of starry skies.
Photographs of the night sky are now on display as part of this year's Winter Stellar exhibition at the Central Stories Museum and Art Gallery in Alexandra. Winter Stellar Charitable Trust Chairman Andrew Davey says they received about 120 images from about 60 different photographers, with some newcomers featuring in the exhibition.
We discovered quite a few new photographers that we didn't know about, which we've since invited to join us here at Winter Stellar.
There are two main types of astrophotography on display. One is landscapes with stars photographed using a conventional camera. The other is images taken through a telescope, such as these ones taken by Professor Brian Boyle, who was part of the Nobel Prize-winning team that discovered dark matter.
To be able to take a picture like this could be perhaps 3-hour exposure or 6-hour or 5-hour. And so to do that, he's got a motorised tripod. So it moves through the sky as the stars move through the sky.
A lot of digital editing goes into creating stunning panoramas, such as this one over Lake Ohau by Rachel Gillespie.
This one will be a composite of probably about 30 odd different photos stitched together. So she may have taken a sweep and taken multiple shots. That's why the Milky Way has got like a rainbow effect. Normally when you see it in the sky it's quite straight, but this is, because it's flattened out, something that it is actually curved, so the straight things look curved.
The Winter Stellar exhibition runs in Alexandra until the end of August, with some images also going on display at the Lakes Museum and Gallery in Arrowtown. In Alexandra, the South Today.
Whaiakane, still to come after the break on Southern Newsweek. Repairs continue at pace on the roof of Dunedin's railway station. And Christchurch's Lancaster Park reopens for business more than a decade after falling victim to the quakes. Tēnā koe, welcome back. The Dunedin City Council and on-site contractors say the multi-million-dollar restoration of the city's historic railway station building is on track. Work on the Category 1 historic place has a price tag of more than $6 million. However, another $1.5 million is being added.
Complex work which has been under wraps until now. Contractors and the Dunedin City Council allowing media access to the multi-storey worksite at the Dunedin Railway Station for a progress report into the nearly $7 million makeover.
Yeah, it's looking like it's on track to be on budget. It's approximately $7 million investment over 3 years, and we should be finished by August next year.
The final two stages of the three-stage project began in October 2021, with scaffolding and then white covering surrounding the 116-year-old structure. Naylor Love has been leading the restoration project, which includes repairs to the roof, windows, walls and Oamaru stone masonry. Site manager Gary Arledge says the white tent, which so many people are now used to seeing, will be gone fairly soon.
So currently we're on stage 2. We're probably 3-4 months away from pulling the tent down and moving over to stage 3, which is on the south end of the building. So currently we're putting the tiles back on, which the east side is new age tiles, from Marseille tiles from France, and then the salvage tiles going back on the west face that was probably seen from the public, where the photos are taken. So
Ullage says the building's age and the dedication to authenticity are a couple of hurdles contractors had to overcome.
Also with specialised trades like the lead, it's hard to get experienced tradesmen that's doing lead work and all that sort of stuff, so copper work. So it's sort of been slow going, you sort of can't throw a lot of people at it.
The second stage is due to be completed in September and the final stage in August next year. DCC Property Services Group Manager Anna Nelson says the building is a landmark for the city and the work being achieved is well worth the investment. In Dunedin, The South Today.
After more than 20 years guiding people around the Port Hills in Christchurch, the Victoria Park Visitor Centre's scale model is in need of a touch-up. Now it's being updated with new track information and Māori place names.
To be a miniature restoration painter, one needs a lot of patience and skill. Something the artist, Mike Bear, also known as Ghost Cat, says he has tons of, plus one other elemental skill.
A crazy person, someone with a lot of patience, but it still gives me a lot of joy. But obviously the finer detail with the things that I make takes a lot of patience and time, so yeah.
Despite his cramped working conditions, hovering over the scale model of the Port Hills, found at the Victoria Park Visitor Centre, Bear says it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. It's what I do as a living. It's what I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's literally the only last, I think, year and a couple of months that I've been doing it as a full-time artist, so very happy.
The Port Hills model was created by Judith Street and was installed as part of the Visitor Centre upgrade in the early 2000s. But after more than 20 years in the public eye, the model was judged to be at the end of its life, and it badly needed a refresh after thousands of fingers had worn away all the trail information. Bear says he usually builds urban models, but this one was a bit out of the ordinary for him, as he slowly builds up the many layers of painted detail needed to make it accurate for the hill's many future users. In Christchurch, The South Today.
2 Dunedin Ukrainian nationals living in Dunedin are one step closer to being able to rescue family from near their war-torn homeland. While their mothers are currently near the border in Poland, they also have family in Georgia.
One step closer to rescuing family from near a war zone. Dunedin Ukrainians Olga Vyasenko and Alexei Ikonikov have now achieved New Zealand resident status.
I can call myself local now because I got my residency a couple of days ago. That was a really long way to this, and we are happy. We are happy that.
The Dunedin couple have been among southern Ukrainians leading the actions in the city, protesting Vladimir Putin's invasion into their homeland, which began in February. Olga Vyasenko says they're filing paperwork as soon as possible to get their mothers away from the situation.
As soon as we got our residency, the same evening we sent expression of interest to bring our moms, and now we have the forms we need to fill in. We will do that during this weekend, and on Monday I hope to send it to the immigration and to get their decision as soon as possible.
Both her mother and her husband Alexei's mother have been in Poland for the last couple of months. She says fellow Ukrainian Kiwis are experiencing mixed fortunes with trying to get their families away from Ukraine and bordering countries.
Some of our friends, they got the visas for their parents really quickly, just a couple of days, and some of them are still waiting for that visas, and they applied for them as we applied for residency just at the beginning of the war, as soon as that visas were issued. So it depends. I do not know how long we will wait, but I hope to get visas for our mums just in a couple of days.
A new feature of Saturday's action in the Octagon is Baking for Ukraine, with many families selling home-baked goods to raise funds for people in need in the Ukraine. In Dunedin, The South Today.
For the first time in more than 11 years, sport will return to Christchurch's Lancaster Park this winter. The park is now officially reopened with a brand new look.
The first runs were scored at the reopened Lancaster Park in the weekend, but it looks a bit different. Gone are the towering stands, and the Crusaders or Black Caps are unlikely to play any games there. The 6-hectare park has been redeveloped into a haven for grassroots community sport. Mayor Leanne Dalzell cut the ribbon to officially launch a new chapter of Lancaster Park.
Reopening Lancaster Park!
She says the park has a rich history and a special place in Cantabrians' hearts.
Lancaster Park has been a place of firsts, a place where records have been broken and a place where memories have been made.
The former stadium was deemed uneconomic to repair by the council in December 2016. Work to demolish the stands finished 3 years later. The council has $7 million to spend on the development of more community amenities on the park, including buildings and a playground. In Christchurch, the South Today.
And that wraps up this edition of Southern Newsweek. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. Mana watia a matariki. Enjoy the long weekend. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.